Hello everybody, it is Christine. It's time for a celebration hop, you guys. It's a celebration hop because I hit 2,000 subscribers. Actually, I want to say about a month or so ago. I actually didn't even notice it. It was the weekend I was at Paige Evans' event with the Paper Snob, and somebody commented, hey, congrats on hitting 2,000 or something like that. And I was like, what? And I'm sure enough I had, and I was like so excited. And I dropped down to like 1999 for like a day or something. So you know, it's funny with the subscriber counts. They go up and down a little bit when people get bored with you or stop doing scrapbooking or whatever. So anyway, the whole point of this hop is to celebrate that. And I invited a lot of my YouTube friends along. So whoever's playing will be below and in a playlist, actually. And I gotta make my own playlist. I haven't done it yet. Tara's offered to help me, but I said, let me try and do it this time. See if I get it done. But the challenge that I gave everybody was to do... it was like 2,000 reasons to scrap, but like your top 20 or whatever. So it could be done either by, I'll show you my idea in a second. You could do 20 little brads. You could do 20 anything, little elements. You could put little stickers that represent, which could be cute. You know, if you find 20 different stickers that represents why you like to scrapbook or whatever. It was kind of a, you know, fun, I'm not gonna lie, it's a challenge though. It was a challenge because I kind of come up with the thought, of a grid layout. I do like a good grid layout, and I've topped all these little things up, and we'll go through those in a minute while I'm doing my voiceover and stuff like that, because I was thinking maybe envelopes, but that might be too much trouble. So I may do little fold opening things, and I pulled out this crafty stuff here. I think this is the stuff I want to use. I have this one. It's actually Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, but it's a crop kit, but I have a bunch of different little crop things here that I think I need to find a background. That's what I really kind of wanted to do. I haven't done that yet, y'all. I have not, and I should have, but I did not. I guess I don't want it to be overly done. Oh, this is cute though. I'll pull some of this out for maybe the front of my little folded over thing is what I'm thinking. I may have to just go get a piece of white cardstock or something because it may be too much going on without just kind of a basic background. Yeah. I think I'm going to run and get a piece of like white cardstock, and then I'll have to make a bunch of little fold over things, little booklet. I'm thinking, I want to say the folder, I'm like a booklet, you know, like a little card or something. And then I'll put some of this stuff on the front, and I'll do some embellishing. I have some other little things. I'll grab a bunch of different little things. I have all these little things. We'll see what I find in there. But yeah, that's the idea. Now I'm probably going to use 2,000, and I may put a number on each one of these now that I say that. I'll look at my thickers. If I don't have anything with the numbers, maybe I'll use my silhouette. That's where I'm starting. Okay, let me go get a piece of white cardstock, and I'll be back on in a moment. Well, I haven't, a quick check-in. I'm not sure I made a ton of progress. I cut out my little things, but the more I'm looking at this, I think I may have to fold down instead of sideways. Instead of little books, I may have to do little flaps up because I've given myself more room vertically than I did horizontally. So I think what I'm going to do is, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to come. It's going to have to fold. I may have to, I'll use different papers, I guess. But the idea is if I do this, and I'm thinking just to have a little, I'll have to use a little score to put the paper on. This isn't what I mean, but you know, it'll come down maybe over. Ooh, I'm making myself a lot of brain power going on here. Okay, so anyway, this is kind of, and I actually initially thought to myself I was going to cut this down and frame it, but I don't think I'm going to have enough room. So I think what I'm going to do now is, like, I need to measure this. I always turn this backwards. Okay, so it's basically if I do 2 1/4, and this is 2.5, so I might have to do 2.75 to give myself, maybe I even do 3 actually. So 2 1/4 by 3, I'll make a bunch of little strips, 2 1/4 by 3, and then I'll start putting those on that. Okay, I'm going to do that off camera because y'all don't need to sit me and watch me cut. But it's 2 1/4 by 3 is what I'm doing, okay? I'll be back in a minute. Well, it'll be a bit, but not for you. Okay, you guys, another quick check-in to show you what I got going on. So I cut my papers, like I said, 2 1/2 by 3. No, 2 1/4 by 3. And now what I'm going to do, and I've used my scoreboard to make a little 1/4 inch fold here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little Nuvo glue, and I'm going to come along and glue all these here. So then I'll have a little thing that I'll then now put here. And then I'll decorate the front of all these. Once I get this glue done, I'm going to see if I have enough space to trim down my white cardstock just a tad. Because I'd like to. And I think I'm also going to take a pen and go around the outside edges of these. Maybe. I don't like that they're a bit unfinished looking to me. However, again, I'm going to be decorating them, so it may not matter. So the next thing I'm going to do is go glue these together, and I'll be back on. Okay, everybody, quick check-in. I have glued all my little thingies down. And next what I'm doing is, they're kind of bugging me in a sense. I hate to say it like that. They're not staying, right? So, which is fine. So, I mean, there's options if you do something like this. You could put 2 little brads and ring string around them, you know, different things. But I have these, I've had these 100 years, y'all. They're little Velcro deals from Tombow. And I'm going to use them. I've cut them in half because they do come, what did I do with this one? They actually come like this. Oh. But I cut them in half because they don't need to be that big. And they're sticky on both sides. And so I'm going to stick them like this so they'll stay down is what I'm going to do. And then once I do that, I think it's time, I don't know, I may put 2000 across the top here and then decorate others or something. I gotta still think on that, y'all. But let me do the Velcro. And okay, one more check-in. I think I'll stop doing video, or I'll go to voiceover. But I think what I'm going to do here, so I've got all my things stuck down. And y'all look, I got the little Velcro. You see. I should have probably tested this. There we go. Little Velcro pieces. I might go ahead and open and close these a few times just to make sure they will. But they hold closed, see? Isn't that nice? And so now I've got my little thing underneath there, my little Velcro. And I essentially now have a piece of paper to work with. So I think I'm going to put 2000, and I may spell out reasons to scrap or something like that, kind of like that. And I've got 2000. I've got these really big, fun root beer. That's what it is. Root beer float. I have already used the 2 on this one, so I have to use it out of this one, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because we're in 2025, going into 2026, and I have no 2s. So, that's okay. What if I do, what I'm not sure about right yet, I think I'm going to use the O's instead of the 0, because I have more O's than 0s. If I do 2000, but see, I can't do it like that. It has to almost be like this. So maybe I do come over here. Does it? Oh, that'll be fine. Oops. I guess it's a little on the squishy side. 2000. And then my thought was I'd spell out reasons with the little bit bigger font here. Y'all, I'm not in my chair. I need to sit down for just a second. So I'm kind of thinking, do I do reasons to scrap maybe? I don't know. And the thing is, I know it's going to be too long of a word to be on one little square. I think this is the cutest font, by the way. This little Bella Boulevard font. Do I bring it over? I'm going to have to use some Nuvo glue on that, you guys. It's not sticking real good, but that's okay. Reasons. That's cute. It's a little hard to see on the pattern, but I'm not going to stress over it too bad. Now, technically, it's 20 reasons, not 2,000, but maybe I don't know. I'll think about how I can tie in the 20. I thought about numbering the squares, but obviously that particular plan has been abandoned. I may have to scooch these over just a tad. Yeah. Or go on another line. Let me see what I can do. I'll do that in a second. I'm not going to make y'all watch me do that. Unless I just carry it over. Does that look stupid if I carry it over? Man, this stuff does not stick good, y'all. Nouveau glue will be had. I could even put scrapbook. Let's do that. Make it look like there's not just some random letter sitting there. Okay, this is pretty adorable, if I'm honest. I kind of love grid work layouts, to be honest with you. Those are, they just seem so normal. Now I'm trying to decide, I'm going to add some stuff up here. Yeah, I really can't put these together, really, so it's going to have to look like this. I think that's actually kind of cute. Okay, let me work on the embellishments, and I'll go into voiceover for that stuff. And if I have to adjust letters, I shall do so. But I'll pull out, you know, I actually have an acrylic piece. I've been saving it. It's from Color Cast Designs. I kind of have, let me see here, because I want to use this, the one, I kind of want to use these. Maybe not. I was thinking I would use one of these scrapping ones, but I want to keep one for me and Tara. And then I'm going to have a scrapbooking weekend, so I may have to hold off on that, y'all. I may have to hold off on that. Okay, let me get into my ephemeras and things like that and see what I have to work with, because I also, like I said, I have these things that I can, see, this is so cute. I scrap right there. I can cut these out and like layer them over the top. And I may run off and get even flowers and stuff, but I think I'm going to start fussy cutting these things. So let me do some of that and I'll be back on. Nope, that was a total lie. I fussy cut none of those. I did have a few of these like letterboard ones that I have in the upper right there. I did have a few that's actually technically fussy cut from a piece of paper. So I did cut that out. You can kind of see right now, I have laid out a few pieces across my, I'm thinking of this as like a single piece of paper at this point, although I have to be very cognizant of overlapping. So at the moment, you may be looking at that going, well, Christine, you got two frames smack in the middle, and how are you going to open up your things? Good question. Well, I'm going to glue them down and cut them. So you'll see that in just a second as well. So I'm gluing down all the pieces that I'm kind of confident in. Honestly, I glued down the little needlepoint thing that says crafting makes everything better on top of my little, it's a piece of grid paper with it's like faux washi and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to take that off in a little bit because I'm going to use actually that little piece for my journaling later. So I changed my mind. I think I'm actually done with the layout, and I think, no, I need to journal something. Like, what's the point of this layout? So I'll take that off and move it around. Okay, so here's my trick on these little frames here. I'm going ahead and gluing it down and then cutting the little pieces in between where the little flaps are. So I'm going to be able to lift my flaps on all my pieces here. And I've actually tested it. They all do lift up. And I'll show you a few at the end that, you know, just so you can get a sense of how it works. I will tell you, this is not a layout that, I don't know if this is technically my style. The pattern is actually a little bolder than I would have enjoyed. I wished I had picked something that was a little more tone on tone, because I do think I'm losing the title, the white part of it, and then I'm losing some of the embellishment. But I say that, and I end up sticking some stickers and stuff, and I guess it's okay. It's, like I said, it's a grid layout that everything has to be interactive, so it's not as easy to layer and cluster unless I did tiny layouts. You know, I have done that, and I do think that looks really cute. But then that was kind of going back to why I didn't fussy cut any of those pieces. They were all a little bit too large. So I had to kind of work through the collection to see, like, what stickers did I have that were small enough? What could I, you know, make work on basically a 2 1/4 by, I don't know, 2.5 inch square. So they're all a little bit tiny things. You can see, though, that I'm kind of working my way through. I do use the Nouveau glue, and then, except on the one big piece of the yellow frame there, I think I used at ATG, but mostly I used the Nuvo glue to glue it down. And then I just took my scissors and kind of cut between where the white lines is. And actually, I almost even forgot to cut one of the yellow pieces. I will end up doing it because I'll realize when I'm looking, I'll go, oh, shoot, I didn't do that. There's a little piece of plastic right there. I don't know what was going on there. But I pulled out from, there's a couple of collections in my little crafty envelope. There's that one I showed you that's like a Scrapbook Expo exclusive. I don't know who it's made by, to be honest with you. There's a photo play in there, which I think I pulled some stickers from that one. I think that might be the only two I actually ended up using. I had one other, but it's more on the cream side or like craft side, and that didn't really work. So I've got my 2 frames glued down. I've got this little, I don't actually add any foam either behind anything because it's so, there's density with the Velcro pieces, and it is, like I said, it is interactive, so it creates a little depth anyway. So I don't add any foam. Normally I probably would have. There's a few pieces that, if I'm brutally honest, kind of hurt my heart not to put foam behind them, but I don't. I will bring in some puffy stickers toward the end, though, and that's not scrapbooky stuff. I actually pull in is some Vicky Bouton Bold and Bright butterflies. They were just sitting here, and I thought, well, those would be cute, so I used those. So I just pull a few little stickers. That one says, crafting is my superpower. That upper right there says, crafting is the best medicine. There's that little banner piece I stuck under the reasons word there. It says, I can totally make that. I found some little like pencils and paintbrushes and things like that. There's a little tag at the bottom that says, I'm not a hoarder. I just need a bigger craft room, which is kind of ridiculous because I have 400 square feet as it is. I mean, I have a good size room, but still. Yeah, actually my room isn't too small. It's that my walls are short. So it's an attic space. So the walls themselves are only about, let's call it 4.5 feet tall. And so I don't have a ton of wall space. It's all ceiling. So it gives me a little bit of angst because I can't hang things on my wall. And I'm not fond of floor storage if I can help it, although I do have some. Now here's where I'm going to start pulling in these little butterflies. And I'm not sure what I was doing there. Oh, I think my letters were falling off. I will have to bring my Nuvo glue, and I mentioned that to you guys. I'll do that off camera. I don't make you sit there and watch me do that, but I will take my Nuvo glue behind all those white letters and make sure they all glue down really nicely. And actually a few of the stickers, because some of the like pencils and stuff like that, they didn't really want to stick. So there's also that little thing on the far right over there that says crop to you, crop some more. I don't really know what that means exactly, but it's black. And I wanted to bring that black over there because I have those black numbers for the 2000. So really what I should do real quickly while are watching me do that is read this stuff. So I have the 20 reasons I have is photos of my daughter, capturing everyday life, artistic play without rules, storytelling through design, scrapbook community connections, leaving a legacy, playing with paper, revisiting travel adventures, preserving family stories, the tactile joy of embellishments, inspiration that sparks more creativity, quiet me time, seasonal traditions, mixing new and old supplies, reliving memories while journaling, documenting milestones, feeling accomplished when a layout is done, creative therapy, trying new techniques, and playing with color combos. That's just like 20 reasons to scrapbook. And truthfully, I could sit here and think of a ton more because I actually thought about, I could have added something like using mixed media, getting your hands dirty, stuff like that. Of course, there's always it kind of alluded to family, but you could also just do, it says preserving family stories, but you could be celebrating loved ones, things like that. So there's tons of reasons. Now, the 2000, the other reason I kind of think this is neat is a little bit of a play on words in a way, because 2,000 Reasons to Scrapbook is my 2,000 subscribers, although it's, technically more than that as people kind of coming online. But it's just saying thank you so much for, making my YouTube be a reason or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, thank you guys for watching me all these years now. I think I've had a channel for 4 or 5 years now. I'm not even really sure how long exactly, because I started it and then didn't really make any videos for a good little while, but I've been enjoying it. I have met some really sweet ladies, made some good friends. I'm actually going to another event with a different scrappy friend later this month. It's in October. So it's just neat. I get to meet people in real life that I've met online. So that was me showing you how the little flaps work. And now I'm going to kind of pull it up toward the camera so you can kind of see the layout itself. You can see where I've moved that little needlepoint looking deal underneath, and I'm going to write my journaling on there. You'll see that in the photos. I did add that washi tape at the top because I had a little too much white space up there, and I thought, okay, why not? So here's some close-ups. You can kind of see that. Thank you again so much. There will be a playlist, and I encourage you, please, please, please go show some love to the people that play along. I really do appreciate their taking the time to celebrate me. It's such a sweet thing. And don't forget to do the like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And we will see you next time. Bye.